Don't remove my lip gloss.
Okay. So how are you? Okay, so can you let me meet you?
My name is Helen Joe-Attahs. I am the wife of
This handsome man.
It's always emphasizing the handsomeness. I'm the beautiful wife of this handsome man.
Exactly.
And I'm the reason why he's looking so handsome.
Oh, yeah?
Because I can imagine how miserable his life would be without me.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe,
Okay.
not maybe, definitely.
Definitely. I agree, totally. But even my children can, of course, they always attest to the fact that their dad is handsome.
And their mom is
beautiful. So the reason why they are looking so amazing.
So, yeah.
All right. So the journey so far. How has it been? Getting married to this man.
Hey, good. Okay, so man, it has been a journey. It has been a journey because first of all, from being so clueless, we got married so early. Maybe not so early for other people, but so early for me because I was young and maybe a little bit even naive. But my confidence was just God, because I was just 22 going to 23.
Yeah,
I was 23 and 22 I was there cutting, and then I just turned 24 when we got married. So that isn't so young, but I mean I was pretty naive. I had just finished secondary school and got straight into the university, finished university, straight to law school, and
from law school
straight to marriage. So it was almost like I didn't have time to kind of like, be on my own, like be an adult and experience the adult life outside of school. So that's why I would say that I was naive. But one thing I was confident about is that I was making the right choice. I knew that it was the right time. Actually, I was not pressured. A lot of people were like, "Why are you in a hurry?" And even me, I was wondering, why now? But somehow I was just confident that it was time.
Why not?
Yeah.
See this kid do it.
I beg. I was confident that it was time because I had prayed. If there was anything I did before I got married, it was pray. I prayed, I fasted, because I was like, God, I know what marriage means and I do not want to miss it. If this is not the person for me, there were lots of people who came around who were like better to do, right? This young man he had nothing. Like it was like he charmed me because everybody around me couldn't understand.
I used Holy Ghost channels.
I just knew that this was the person and it was time. So yeah, and the journey started. Boy, it has been one adventure, yeah. Because I wouldn't say it has been all rosy, like all sunshine and rainbows, but it has been an adventure. There has been a lot to learn. I remember our early years, months, we're still like trying to really understand each other. We had known each other for like a couple of years, but I mean getting married is a whole different ball game altogether. So I mean it was just a lot of like learning. Oh my God. And the learning was with tears, because for me I was that independent person. I didn't depend on anybody to make decisions, right? I was also used to just doing things my own way. I am highly opinionated. So so I want to hold my opinion very strongly, and I don't want to just differ, right? Because I know this is correct. What are you trying to tell me, right? So it was hard having to learn. Even I had prayed and God had told me so much about submission. Learning, actually, God telling me about it, I mean learning it on the job. Was not easy.
Two different
it was a whole different dragon, and it was just a whole different thing. So I didn't struggle with it, right? But the learning was not easy. The learning was not easy. So a lot of times we would talk, and I would it would be so hard for me to swallow it, and I would cry. Like I would feel like someone is just taking away my rights, right?
That's right.
But it's over time,
yes.
I've learned, because somehow, submitting to my husband has taught me how to also submit to God. And I think that's very significant, because marriage is like, learning all of this has really helped me in my spiritual life, and it has been amazing. It has been good, right? All of us, like both of us, let me not say all of us, both of us have had a lot to learn.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We've had a lot to learn, and
there's been a lot of growth and
grown over time.
Yes.
Right? I remember I'm a talking person, so I remember that I used to always just want to talk things out. Like when I feel things bubbling down in my mind, or there's just an issue, I just want to talk about it, and even if it's not up for that talk, I would insist on because for me, that's the way that the issue can be trashed. Right? So it took a very long time, like it took me years to be able to understand that I need to let him deal with the issue in his own way, right? And I think that letting you deal with the issue in your own way, in your own time, has helped us solve problems
with ease.
Yeah,
I still get on the ease.
Don't be feeling proud.
I'm proud of you. Truly, actually, the growth has been amazing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it has been amazing.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask you some more questions, but I want to say that for me, this has been one journey of personal development. To me, it has been like a school.
It is a school.
It is a school all together, Like I had envisaged my marriage to be something that has never existed in my entire lineage. And because, like I said in the other video, that there was no example, to look up to. And I'd seen my mom, gone through a lot. My dad was not bullying my mom, but she lacked practically everything.
God just gave us marriage as a gift to mirror our own relationship with him. That's why he calls us the bride of Christ.
That's right.
Right? So somehow the things that we learn in marriage help us in our relationship with God, because it's a simulation of the same relationship that we have with God.
Right.
So,
and I told myself that I was going to put a lot of things in order before I bring in somebody's daughter to be my wife.
Yeah,
until now, until now, I'm still putting things in order. It's so amazing that the moment I met you, a lot of things changed. Yes, a lot of things changed. I was hearing about marrying the will of God, but I had ideas, of maybe exposure, maybe the kind of things we're exposed to growing up. I just had personal ideas of the things I wanted in my wife, and then those things would really give me a lot of time. Probably if I had gone with that, my secular idea, I would still be single by now. I tell you the truth. You just came, and then suddenly I just felt ready. Like
the
game just changed entirely. I just felt ready.
Game
changer, man. I tell you the truth. So the game changed. My study life changed. My expectations changed. Even my perception of myself changed. In fact, I used to feel high of myself. I started feeling higher of myself because of this bundle of packages that you're seeing here. So it's amazing. Yeah, it's a bundle of packages. It's amazing. Doing life with this woman has been one beautiful thing, that has happened to me. I must say that. I'm not just flattering. That's the truth.
Of course, I know. That's
the truth. And one thing with me is that I don't hold back the words. I say it, and of course I know that's my wife's major love language, although we're going to talk about that much in much detail later. So, but I see that I had no money, I had no savings, I had no job. We were just leaving school. The only thing I had was fine face and a good result. And of course, relationship.
That didn't amount to much.
Fine face, good result, and buoyant relationship with God.
Yeah.
So it was an adventure, and it was a very serious risk.
It was a
Yeah, it was a risk, like a very serious risk. Everybody was practically feeling for us, like, okay, where are you going to stay?
You are going to suffer.
Yeah, they are going to suffer. Everybody said this guy just want to carry this girl to go and suffer, you know. And we knew that God gives testimonies. We have heard. We just wanted to have that experiential knowledge.
I wanted to prove God
Yeah, we wanted
in that
to
area.
exactly, and of course we have.
Yeah.
So now, when you're talking about God is faithful, it is not just a word.
It's not just a general.
Yeah, it's not a cliche.
Yeah,
It is the truth, because we have proven that God is faithful.
Yeah.
You know, at some point my mother-in-law was like, okay, you're going to live in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is expensive. I know that. How you guys going to cope? We're not afraid. We're not afraid. Like,
when I think back, I'm wondering, like, do I still have that kind of faith?
No. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Life of faith.
Yeah, it was a journey.
Yeah, it was a journey of faith. For, you know, I began to tell myself, okay, if I make all the money, I could easily boast that I got married. You know, I got married.
Yeah.
You know, because I had what it takes. But if God made it happen, I can boldly say that God is still.
God did it.
Yes, God did it, and actually God did it.
Yeah, and that's not a pattern. Like that's not the standard. So each person's
So exactly.
Whatever works for you. But if you're that person that wants to dare God, wants to prove God rather, then I mean we are the perfect example of people that proved God.
And God showed
and God has come through for us. So yeah.
All right. So I want to ask you again. Your life, primary, secondary school, university was in Benue State. I remember maybe you visited Lagos once during your law school, and then maybe you visited twice. You visited Lagos twice, but you didn't stay long. And then you visited, is it Ogun State? Yeah, maybe once. Yeah. All right. But all your life you lived in Benue, and you're just going to follow this man. This man that you only knew in church, although you've been to my place and all. I mean, the confidence. What was driving you?
So the confidence was that I was not following you.
Oh yeah.
I was following God.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the fear that everyone was feeling, that she just met this guy. She just met this guy. Why is she in such a hurry? Like, why won't they wait and take their time? We just started a courtship and we fixed a date like 1 year ahead that by this time next year we would get married, and we were working towards that date with or without anything or anybody. So we didn't need anybody's help. We also not that we didn't want anybody to help us, but it was our resolve was that it was going to happen whether anybody helped us, yes, or not. So, and my confidence was that I had prayed. I don't know if I've ever prayed in my life like that. Even like after that time, I prayed earnestly because I've seen things, I've heard stories, and I was like, God, I'm your daughter. These things I'm hearing cannot be my testimony. Yeah, so set me up with the right person. Let me be sure, let me know. So as soon as I was confident that this is the person, it gave me peace, it gave me assurance that God was with me and God was with us, right? So it was God,
yes,
really,
it was.
I was following, and that's what made me so confident, going with you to, go just immediately after the wedding. It was like you whisked me away to Port Harcourt where I'd never been before, and it's not as if you had anything on ground there.
No family.
No, there's no family. There's just nothing.
We were both strangers in the land.
So we just went there to both start our lives together, and the confidence was that God was with us.
God was with us.
Yeah.
There was no better year. There was no better last.
It has been
progressive.
From the first year.
From the first year, we kept seeing progress.
Yeah.
At some point, my mother-in-law was like, "He just came and just stole my daughter away from me." As if I'm not even going to see my daughter again and stuff like that. Then at some point, when she came again, she made a statement. She said, "One thing I love about you is that every time I come, I see progress.
Yeah.
It was slow, but it was steady and consistent.
Slow but sure.
Yeah, it was sure, slow but very sure. God really proved himself. and he's still proving himself. And the better years are here. Okay, and then I remember that you were quite young. That first year in our first small apartment. Every time you're in the kitchen, something will just fall off your hand and break, and all of that. What was going through your mind? It was strange. Like
so, I can't count the number of plates and all my
pots that had glass cover
with glass covers. I don't know. I can't remember in the past couple of years breaking
nothing.
But in that first year, I broke literally everything.
Mugs, tea mugs,
covers of pots, plates, you name it.
So what was happening?
I'm not sure, but I feel like it was that. I don't know if to say agitation of. I hope I'm going to do this right. Like I've not always been a person who loves to be in the kitchen, right? I've not been in the kitchen much. In my secondary school, I was like in boarding school the whole time. We were not cooking. When I come home, I preferred to help with cleaning. We had people living with us, who would do other things, and had a lady who was cooking. So I would mostly clean. My mom loved it when I would clean her room and all of that. So I just was better with the cleaning. I was not a kitchen person. Then in the university I stayed in the hostel, nothing much, right? So we went to law school again. We're not cooking, we're buying food. So I was not in the kitchen much. So there was just that a bit of tension, like I hope I'm going to do this right. I hope I'm not going to mess this up. And not like anybody was putting pressure on me, but it was me just being too conscious that this is new. This is new. So before I know it, something has dropped from her.
And of course, as your loving husband, I will always rush and say, hope you're not hurt. Hope you're not hurt. This man, give it to this man. I know how to marry. Jesus. Oh. Man.
But you know how to marry.
Yes, I do. Yeah, actually. Actually, you've made the journey so easy. It has been like brother and sister looking out for each other. You see, I think one of the things that has helped us is nobody was looking out for fault. Nobody was looking out to fault anybody. Okay, let me hold let me look for. We didn't. There was nobody looking for fights. So when stuff happened, we just explained it away. It's a mistake. In fact, we're concerned about each other's welfare, and it has always been like that.
Yeah.
So who else could you have married if not this man? Nobody. I agree totally. Okay.
Except maybe when I married somebody else.
I couldn't have married. I couldn't have married. I couldn't have married
the specifications I needed.
But I couldn't have married somebody because actually, you had you had the opportunity
to marry
opportunities, and I also had the opportunities. And for as long as I've not met you, I was not ready. The moment I met you, I became ready suddenly.
Yeah.
So I just knew that this is the will of God for me. Yeah. So like I said in the other video, it was not an audible voice. It was not a vision. There was just a knowing. And it was so crystal clear. In fact, that is when I knew that I'm a prophet, man. If I couldn't get it wrong here, man, I just trust. My trust for my prophetic instincts, graduated and grew from this very choice here.
Yeah. So I think that what I want to say to that is that, well, for people who are yet to get married, I think that one of the mistakes we make, especially in church when we're trying to pray about the person we should marry, is that we're expecting God to either show us a dream with the face of the person, or with us walking down the aisle with the person, or we want to hear an audible voice. But we forget that we have the Spirit of God right within us, and the Bible says that the Spirit bears witness with our spirit. So you need your spirit to be awake. Right? If your spirit is awake, there are things that you just know. You just come to a phase or a stage, or you meet a person and you just know.
First John 2:20.
Yes.
You have the unction
of the Holy One, and it teaches you. You know all things because it teaches you. Because it bears witness with your spirit. So sometimes when we have our minds fixated on how we want God to speak to us, we end up missing it because the devil take advantage of of those, and project things into our minds or our spirits or our dreams, and we see things that aren't really from God. And I mean, if it's possible for someone to have a nightmare which is not from God, then that's how possible it is for the devil to push things into your dreams and
visions.
You're thinking that, I saw this person in my dream, this must be my husband, or this must be my wife, and then it's not. So the focus should be on God. Help me to know. Help me to know. So however he chooses to make you know, yours is just keep your spirit alive and awake. Make sure you're praying, make sure you're fasting, make sure you're just being sensitive and observant also. There are things that if they don't agree with your spirit, you don't ignore it, right?
Yeah.
So
there are always those warning signals.
Those signals are always there.
Once the heart of man, the spirit of man is a candle of the Lord. So once your spirit is alive, there's always that witness in your spirit. Something just holding you back. And that is the time to take our time.
A step back.
Yeah, take our time. Don't let go yet. Just take a step back. Every sprint, athletes on the field, they always take a step back to take a good leap. You understand? So it helps you to see clearer, calculate better, and then project more effectively too.
Yeah, I remember when we were dating, we used to have sometimes we would have certain maybe arguments over the phone mostly because we was distance relationship most of the time, and I would feel a certain way, and I'll be like, please, I need some time. And he would be like, okay, take your time. In my mind, I'd be so annoyed. I'm like, how would you just be so quick to say, okay, take your time, take as long as you want? I'm like, excuse me, why are you feeling so important? Or are you feeling like I can't go anywhere or what?
It was absolutely not about that. We always used to pray, even till the eve of the marriage, the wedding, that if it is not the will of God, something should just happen. So see, courtship, the way people do it, I had invested time, I've done this, no, I can't let this go, even when you're seeing the warning signal.
You should always be willing.
We were open. When you say you want God to take the lead, just let him know truly, because God will prove you to see whether truly you want him to take the lead. For us, we had that open mind. We wanted what he wanted for us. In fact, when we were even going to see our pastor, before we started, courting, you said it that whatever she said, because it was the pastor's wife went to me, that was the last confirmation you're going to work with. Whatever she says is what you're going to work with. And we said no challenge. And we're quite young. In fact, I thought that they would not give approval. They were going to say, what do you do? Or why you guys just give it a little time, you just finish school. But as we got there, oh wow, she was excited for us. Oh, wow, I'm so excited. Get on your knees, let me pray for you. It was so amazing.
Overwhelmed. And we had some confirmation.
Yes, before then, that was the final confirmation. And it was like, okay, there's nothing to hold back. And it's not the norm. There are people who are more mature than us, who are even more stable than us, who have gone like that, and they were told that they are not ready. I perceive that you are not ready, and theirs didn't turn out. It didn't work out actually. And when we went to wow, this is good. I was looking, I was surprised that what did they see? How can they trust us so much like this? And how can they believe in us so much? So you can see that God was in, and we were praying this prayer, Lord, this is you. If you are not in it, let it not work. And there's no hard feeling. There will be no heartbreaks. Once it's from you, and that happened.